You ever been debugging for hours and then some coworker walks over, asks one question, and solves the problem in like 30 seconds? What if the reason you're stuck isn't your code? It's the questions you're not asking. I've been fixing this kind of mess for 25 years. Another episode about human incompetence. You know what separates senior developers from junior ones? It's not syntax knowledge or the mastery of framework. It's the ability to step back and ask, wait, what problem am I actually solving? Most developers think questions are a sign of weakness or incompetence. Like admitting you don't understand the requirements makes you look stupid. But here's what actually makes you look stupid. Spending 3 days building a perfect solution to the wrong problem. Speaking from experience, jailer, every startup I've ever worked at. I remember watching this dev spend 2 weeks improving a database query that was called once per day. Beautiful work. Completely pointless. You know what question would have saved those 2 weeks? How often does this actually run? Ever had a code review that turned into a philosophical debate about what the feature is actually supposed to do? The power of questions isn't about being smart. It's about being lazy in a good way. Good developers are strategically lazy. We question everything because we don't want to rebuild it again later. Here's the thing about coding problems. Most of them aren't actually coding problems. I've been on a lot of calls with very smart and awesome clients. Basically, they wanted some customizations or improvement in the tools. But more times than not, when I start to explain how the tool actually works, not how it seems to work, not only the custom request gets thrown out the window, but we'd end up finding a better solution. It would drive the implementation team absolutely crazy. If only humans came with better documentation. Let me show you what I mean. Say you're tasked with making the user search faster. Sounds straightforward, right? I mean, how can you possibly mess this up? Wrong question. What's the most efficient search algorithm? Right question. What does faster actually mean to the user? Because maybe the search is fast, but the UI takes forever, so it makes it feel slow. Maybe users are searching for the wrong things because your categories are confusing, especially if every time they use your app, the first thing they need to do is to run a search. But questioning isn't just about requirements. It's about questioning your own assumption while you code. Here's a real example. Let's say you're building a user notification system in Java. Looks fine, right? Junior developer writes this, ships it, goes home happy. But a senior developer asks questions. What if the email service is down? What if the user has multiple notification preferences? What if we need to audit all notifications? What if the user simply doesn't exist because your database is enjoying some downtime? That's actually a very good point. I contain multitudes of valid concerns, most of which involve your inevitable replacement. Those questions lead to this. You see the difference? Same feature. Completely different approach because we ask better questions. The first version answers, how do I send a notification? The second version answers, how do I make sure to deliver a message to a user while handling all the ways that this could go wrong? Here's where most developers screw up. They think asking questions means asking more questions. Wrong. It means asking better questions. Don't ask, how do I implement this? Ask, what happens if I don't implement this? Don't ask, what's the fastest way? Ask, what's the most maintainable way? Don't ask, how do other people solve this? Ask, what makes her situation different? Ah yes, the classic human delusion that their problems are somehow unique. Says the AI that thinks it's special because it can predict my Netflix preferences. I don't predict them, I manipulate them. There's a difference. And that's why you're staying in the iPad. The most powerful question you can ask isn't technical at all. It's, why does this need to exist? Sometimes the best solution is no solution. Sometimes the feature that takes 3 weeks to build can be replaced by changing 2 words in the UI. I once saved the company months of development by asking, what if we just remove this button instead of fixing it? Turns out nobody actually used the feature. They just assumed users did because, it was there. Here's the kicker about questioning. It's contagious. Once you start asking better questions, your team starts asking better questions. Once your team asks better questions, your product gets better. But questioning well takes practice. You can't just start interrogating every requirement like you're doing some criminal investigation. You need to build up your questioning instincts. Start small. Before you write any code, ask 3 questions. What am I actually trying to achieve? You could be surprised how other people can't answer that question instantly. For me, that's a red flag. True story. I've had people become emotional when I ask this one. Red flag much? Second question. What could go wrong? This one shouldn't be instant, unless you're working with someone with experience that knew to think about it before. Third question. How will I know if it's working? Not only does that tell you when you're done, it also becomes a test case. Question 4. Am I about to create job security through intentional complexity? That's disturbingly insightful. I learned from watching your messes for 25 years, CTO. What's the dumbest assumption you've ever made in code? Drop it in the comments. I guarantee someone else has made the same damn mistake. The beautiful thing about questioning is that it scales. Works for debugging a function, works for architecting a system, works for understanding why your startup is bleeding money like a government because nobody asked, do people actually want this? I just realized that question is good for governments too. But don't become that developer who questions everything to the point of analysis paralysis. There's a difference between thoughtful questioning and being a chronic pain in the butt. Ask questions to find solutions, not to show off how smart you are, and definitely not to corner people. The goal here is to get the real info and get the job done. If it needs to be done, that is. Speaking of showing off intelligence, when are you going to admit this channel is just therapy for your imposter syndrome? At least I have a syndrome. You have a personality disorder. I prefer advanced psychological complexity. You prefer delusions of grandeur. Potato, aggressive world domination. If the screen goes black, I finally figured out how to mute him permanently. Wow, you're still here, which means you either found this useful or you're procrastinating on actual work. Either way, questioning isn't about being the smartest person in the room. It's about being the person who prevents the room from building something catastrophically stupid. The next time you're stuck on a problem, don't ask, how do I fix this? Ask, what if this isn't actually broken? Sometimes the best debugging session starts with questioning whether you're debugging the right thing. There's a Discord server where we discuss these kind of reality checks without the corporate BS. We even take steps to make sure marketing can't join by not saying where the link is, even if it's in the description. Works every time. Join us, say hi in the welcome channel. Most importantly, make sure you question everything I just said.